Hey guys, I don't usually talk about my family like this. Not because they're private, not because they're famous or secretive, but because until recently, there never seemed to be anything to talk about. Just routines, warm lights, familiar smells, the kind of home where everything feels worn in, like the furniture knows your shape before you sit down. I'm standing in the doorway now, shoes still on, listening to the low hum of voices from the kitchen, the clink of cutlery, the soft rhythm of something practiced. There's comfort in it. There always has been. But comfort can be a shape that hides things. It can smooth edges until you stop noticing what they're attached to. Growing up, I learned early that our family has traditions. That's the word everyone uses. Traditions sound harmless, cozy even, like old recipes or songs you only sing on holidays. Ours are small, ordinary, so ordinary that when friends come over, they don't even notice them. I don't notice them either, not really. I just move through them like muscle memory, like breathing. Every Sunday, we eat dinner together. No exceptions. The table is long, dark wood, scarred with shallow cuts and heat marks, each one with a story no one tells anymore. The chairs are mismatched, collected over years, but always arranged the same way. My father at the head, my mother to his right, the rest of us filling in the spaces we've always filled. Even now, as an adult, I take my seat without thinking. Third from the end, left side. I don't remember choosing it. I just know it's mine. Dinner starts at exactly 7, not around 7, not when everyone's ready. 7. The clock above the sink clicks louder in the final minute, like it's reminding us to hurry up, to fall into place. Food is already on the table by then, covered, steaming gently, the smells layered and rich. No one eats yet. We wait. We always wait. There's a moment before we begin where everything goes quiet. Not a forced quiet, just a natural dip, like the house itself holds its breath. My father clears his throat. My mother folds her hands. We lower our eyes. It lasts maybe 10 seconds, maybe less. Then my father nods once, sharp and final, and we start eating. I never question that pause. None of us do. It's just part of it. Later. When I'm older, when I try to explain it to someone else, I struggle to find the words. It's not a prayer. There are no words. No God mentioned. It's just respect. That's what my mother says when I ask her once casually, my mouth full of mashed potatoes. She smiles like I've asked something cute. It's just respect, she says. End of conversation. There are other little things. Plates are set in a specific order. Forks on the left, knives on the right, spoons above the plate, even when we're not having soup. One extra place setting is always laid out at the far end of the table. An empty chair, clean plate, full glass of water. It's been there as long as I can remember. When I'm a kid, I assume it's for a guest. When I'm a teenager, I assume it's symbolic. When I'm an adult, I stop assuming anything at all. It's just there. No one ever sits in that chair. If someone tries to move it, even by accident, there's a reaction. Not anger, not shouting, just a sudden tension, like everyone's spine straightens at once. My mother will gently guide the chair back. My father's jaw tightens. Conversation stutters, then resumes, but softer. Careful, like we've brushed against something fragile. I grow up thinking all families are like this, that every home has invisible lines you don't cross, objects you don't touch, moments you don't interrupt. At school, when teachers talk about questioning things, about curiosity, I nod along. At home, I don't question anything. There's no need. Everything works. Birthdays are quiet affairs. No surprise parties, no loud singing, just cake, candles, the same pause we have before dinner, stretched a little longer. Weddings are small, funerals even smaller. There's a rule about leaving the house after dark on certain days, but it's explained away as safety. There's a rule about not opening certain doors unless you're told, explained away as privacy. Every explanation fits just well enough that it doesn't snag in your mind. And the thing is, nothing bad ever happens. That's the part that keeps me calm for so long. We're healthy, stable, boring even. My friends complain about their families, about chaos and drama and shouting matches. I listen and feel quietly grateful. We don't have that. We have structure. We have ritual. It isn't until I leave for college that I start to feel the absence of it. Sundays feel wrong without the weight of 7 o'clock pressing down on them. I catch myself pausing before meals, waiting for a nod that never comes. I feel oddly exposed eating alone, like I'm skipping a step in a process that keeps me aligned, that keeps things in order. When I come home for breaks, the house welcomes me like nothing has changed. The smells, the sounds, the table waiting, my seat untouched. Even the extra chair is there, exactly where it's always been. I don't ask who it's for. I don't ask why it's still set, even when fewer of us are around. I don't ask why my younger cousin's name is never spoken, even though his photo still hangs in the hallway. I just sit down. I wait. I eat, because that's what you do with family rituals. You inherit them. You don't examine them too closely. You tell yourself they're harmless. You tell yourself everyone has something like this. And for a long time, that's enough. Until the first time I notice that the water in the empty glass is never quite still. The rule isn't written anywhere. There's no sign taped to a wall. No note tucked into a drawer. I don't remember anyone sitting me down and explaining it. I just know that by the time I'm old enough to speak in full sentences, I already understand it. The rule is simple. You don't acknowledge the empty place unless you're told to. Not the chair, not the plate, not the glass. You don't joke about it. You don't ask who it's for. You don't comment when it's missing, and you definitely don't comment when it looks used. Children learn this rule the way they learn not to touch a hot stove, not through lectures, but through tone, through the way adults pause when your eyes linger too long, through the way a hand rests on your shoulder, gentle but firm, guiding your attention elsewhere. I remember being maybe 5, swinging my legs under the table, counting peas on my plate when I point at the empty chair and ask, "Who sits there?" The room changes temperature. It's subtle. No one gasps. No one yells. But my father's fork stops mid-air. My mother's smile stiffens, just for a second. My aunt clears her throat too loudly. Someone laughs, a short, sharp sound that doesn't quite land. My mother reaches over and presses her fingers against my wrist, just enough to stop me from pointing. She leans close, her voice soft, almost kind. "We don't talk about that," she says, not angry, not scared, just final. After that, the rule settles into me. I don't test it again. As I get older, I notice how early everyone else learns it too. Toddlers are redirected with toys. Teenagers are given looks that shut them up mid-sentence. Guests are never told directly, but they pick up on it. Someone will start to ask a question, trail off, then shrug it away. "Family thing," we say, smiling. People accept that explanation more often than you'd think. What's strange is how much effort goes into maintaining something we're not supposed to notice. The place is always set first. Before anyone else's plate touches the table, that one goes down. The glass is filled carefully to the same level every time. If the water line is off, my mother adjusts it, her eyes narrowing slightly, like she's aligning a picture frame. Napkin folded just so. If we're having bread, a piece is placed on the small side plate, even though it always goes stale by the end of the meal. No one eats from it. No one drinks from it. But sometimes it changes. I start noticing this in my teens. At first, I think it's my imagination, the way shadows play tricks under the warm overhead light. I could swear the bread looks torn, not sliced. That the water level is lower than it was before dinner started. Once, I'm almost sure I see condensation on the glass, like someone's fingers have wrapped around it. When I glance at my parents, they're not looking at the table. They're looking at each other. A quick exchange, a nod. Then my father clears his throat and conversation resumes. I tell myself there's a logical explanation. Air currents, heat, time passing. I tell myself I'm being dramatic, that I've watched too many movies, read too many creepy stories online. Our house is safe, normal, boring. Rules don't mean danger. Rules mean order. But the rule grows teeth when I break it by accident. It happens one Sunday when I'm home from college, tired, distracted, my mind somewhere else. I reach for the salt, knocking it over. It spills, white grain scattering across the table, skittering toward the empty place setting. Without thinking, I reach across, my sleeve brushing the edge of that untouched plate as I try to stop the mess. My father stands up so fast, his chair screeches against the floor. "Don't," he says. Just that, one word, louder than I've ever heard him speak. My hand freezes inches from the plate. I feel every eye on me. My heart is pounding. Not because I'm scared, but because I've done something wrong without knowing how wrong it is. My mother moves quickly, calmly, sweeping the salt away herself. She replaces the plate, adjusts the napkin, refills the water, even though it's still full. "No harm done," she says, smiling too wide. "Just be careful." Dinner continues, but the air feels thinner. My appetite disappears. I can't stop staring at that place, at the careful way no one looks at it directly. When the meal ends, my father stays behind to clear that single setting himself. He carries it to the sink with both hands, like it's heavy. like it matters. Later that night, I lie awake, listening to the house settle. Pipes creak, floorboards pop, familiar sounds, comforting sounds. And then, from downstairs, I hear something else. The soft scrape of a chair being moved. A pause. The faint clink of glass. I hold my breath, the rule screaming in my head, even though no one is there to enforce it. Don't acknowledge it. Don't get up. Don't look. The next morning, the chair is back in place. The glass is empty. The water pitcher is lower than it should be. I start asking questions after that. Small ones, careful ones. I ask my mother why we have so many chairs when only some of us live here now. She says it's nice to be prepared. I ask my father why we eat at exactly 7. He says habits are good for the body. I ask about my cousin, the one whose name hangs unspoken in the hallway, the one who used to sit near the end of the table, close to the empty place. My parents exchanged that look again. He moved away, my mother says. I nod. I don't push. The rule isn't just about the chair anymore. It's about silence, about what happens when you keep it, and what might happen if you don't. Because the more I pay attention, the clearer it becomes that the rule isn't there to protect us from discomfort. It's there to protect something else from being noticed. Absence, in our family, is treated like a form of presence. Not a gap, not a loss, but a role that still needs to be filled. I start to understand this slowly. The way you realize a song you've heard your whole life has lyrics that don't quite make sense once you actually listen to them. It's not just the empty chair. It's how everyone moves around it, how conversations bend, how memories are edited to make room for something that isn't supposed to be there, but clearly is. The first time it really sinks in is at my grandmother's birthday dinner. She's 90, thin as folded paper, her hands trembling as she cuts the cake. More family than usual fills the house. Cousins, second cousins, people I only see every few years. The table is extended with extra leaves, more chairs pulled in from the garage. Laughter is louder, voices overlap, and still somehow that one place remains untouched, perfectly spaced, exactly where it's always been. As people sit, there's a brief moment of confusion. Someone almost takes that chair. My aunt gently redirects them, her hand on their elbow, her smile practiced. Not there, she says lightly. No explanation, just an assumption of compliance, and it works. It always works. We eat, we talk. Stories are told about the past, about people who aren't in the room anymore. Names come up, then are smoothed over, replaced with vague phrases. Back then, you remember how it was? I notice patterns. When someone mentions a year, my father subtly adjusts it. When someone mentions a trip, my mother steers the conversation away before certain details surface. It's like watching editors at work, cutting around a scene they don't want shown. Then my grandmother does something no one expects. Halfway through dinner, she lifts her glass. The room quiets instinctively. She doesn't look at my father. She doesn't look at my mother. She looks straight down the table, at the empty place. Her eyes are still sharp, even now, still knowing. For those who sit with us, she says. That's it. No name, no elaboration. Everyone raises their glasses, even the kids, copying the adults. I hesitate, then follow. The clink of glass is soft, uneven. When I drink, the water tastes off, metallic, almost. I glance at the empty glass across from me. It's no longer full. It's been drunk from. The condensation is fresh. No one reacts. That's when I realize absence isn't an accident here. It's participation. The rituals aren't symbolic gestures meant to remember the past. They're active, ongoing. Something is being included, deliberately, carefully, and we're all pretending not to see it. After that night, I start noticing how often missing people are still counted. When my mother sets out plates, she counts under her breath. The number never changes, even when fewer of us are home. When my father talks about family, he uses totals that don't add up. All of us, he says, even when there are clearly gaps. When holiday cards arrive, some envelopes have no return address. My mother opens them anyway, reads them silently, burns them in the fireplace later. The worst part is how normal it all feels. I catch myself adjusting my behavior to accommodate the absence, lowering my voice at certain points in the conversation, avoiding certain topics without knowing why, leaving space when I walk past the end of the table, like I don't want to bump into someone standing there. Once, in the hallway, I instinctively step aside to let someone pass, and there's no one there. My heart races, but my body feels satisfied, like I did the right thing. I start dreaming about it. In my dreams, the chair is occupied, but I can't see who's sitting there, just the impression of weight, the faint creak of wood, the sound of breathing that doesn't match anyone else's. I wake up with the taste of metal in my mouth, the sense that I've been watched with patience, not hunger, evaluated. I try once to break the rule in a way that can't be ignored. It's late, everyone's asleep. I go downstairs, my phone flashlight cutting a narrow beam through the dark. The table is bare, chairs pushed in, except for one. The empty one is slightly out of place, angled, like someone got up in a hurry. My pulse thuds in my ears as I approach it. The air feels thicker here, charged, like before a storm. I pull the chair out. The sound is louder than it should be. It echoes. The house seems to lean in. I stand there for a long moment, waiting for something to happen. Nothing does. Encouraged, I sit. The wood is cold. Then it warms. Not all at once. Gradually. Like a seat that's been vacated moments before, I swallow, every instinct screaming at me to get up, to apologize, to put things back the way they were. Instead, I whisper, barely audible, "Who are you?" The silence that follows is immense, heavy, pressurized. Then, right next to my ear, I feel a presence shift. Not touching me, but close enough that the air moves. A sense of attention, of expectation. I don't hear a voice, but something answers anyway. Not in words, in understanding. It doesn't matter who. What matters is that it's always been here, that it belongs, that the rituals aren't about remembering the dead. They're about feeding something that doesn't leave. When I stand up, my legs are shaking. I push the chair back into place, aligning it perfectly. The moment it clicks against the table, the pressure lifts. I can breathe again. The next morning, no one mentions anything. But my father looks at me a little longer than usual. My mother sets an extra piece of bread on the side plate, her hands steady. Absence, I finally understand, is not empty. It's occupied. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. The rituals stop being background noise and start sounding like instructions. Every small inconsistency I've ignored for years lines up, neat and terrifying, like proof laid out on a table I've been sitting at my whole life. I start with the house itself. Our home is old, but not ancient. Mid-century bones, renovated in pieces. What I notice now is how uneven those renovations are. Certain rooms are updated, bright, alive with use. Others are untouched, preserved. The dining room is one of them. The wallpaper is original, yellowed at the edges, patterned with something floral that feels too repetitive if you stare at it too long. The light fixture hums faintly even when it's off. And the floor beneath the empty chair is more worn than anywhere else, as if something heavier than the rest of us has been shifting there for decades. I kneel one afternoon when no one's home and run my fingers along the grooves. They don't match the chair legs exactly. They're deeper, closer together. Then there are the photos. Family pictures line the hallway, carefully arranged in chronological order. Birthdays, graduations, weddings. At first glance, they look normal, happy, but once I start counting, I notice the gaps. In older photos, there's always someone standing just out of frame, an arm around a shoulder that doesn't connect to anyone visible, space between people that's too deliberate to be accidental. In one photo from the late 80s, my parents are newly married, smiling awkwardly at the camera. Between them, there's a shadow that doesn't align with the lighting. Not a person, not a trick of the flash, just an impression. Like someone was there and the camera refused to record them fully. I bring this up to my mother, carefully, casually, as if I'm commenting on the frame. That one always came out strange, she says, not looking at it. Some things don't like being photographed. She says it the way someone might say some fabrics wrinkle easily. A fact, not a warning. The proof keeps piling up. I notice that the extra place setting is replaced more often than the others. New plate, new glass, no chips, no scratches. Like wear matters, like contamination is a concern. I notice that on nights when tension runs high, arguments, stress, raised voices, the rituals become stricter. Dinner starts exactly on time. The pause lasts longer. The bread at the empty place is thicker, fresher. I notice the calendar. Certain dates are circled, not in ink, but pressed into the paper so hard the numbers are embossed. On those days, no one leaves the house after sunset. Phones are silenced. Curtains are drawn. The rituals expand beyond the table. Candles are lit in specific rooms. Doors are closed in a certain order. And always, always the chair is checked, adjusted, honored. Finally, I find the journal. It's hidden in a box in the attic, tucked beneath old linens that smell faintly of smoke. The cover is cracked leather. No title. Inside, the handwriting changes every few pages, but the tone stays the same. Practical, methodical, not fear, responsibility. It details the first agreement, not a summoning, not a curse, an arrangement. Something came with the land, not evil, not good, just present, hungry in a way that wasn't violent, but persistent. It wanted acknowledgement, space, routine. In return, it offered stability, protection, longevity. The family thrived. Crops grew, children lived. Accidents passed us by or landed softer than they should have. All it asked was consistency, a seat, a share, silence. Those who forgot the journal notes were corrected, not killed, not taken, just removed, folded into absence, still counted, still present, still useful. I understand then why no one questions the rituals. They work. Every success story in my family has a shadow next to it. Every long life, every narrow escape, every we were lucky moment is balanced against a name that stopped being spoken, a room that stopped being used, a chair that filled without a body. The rituals aren't symbolic. They're functional. Maintenance, like changing filters, like locking doors. And now that I know, I feel something shift. At dinner that night, the pause stretches longer than usual. The air presses in on my ears. I swear I can feel attention turn toward me, curious, patient. The bread at the empty place is gone before we finish eating. No crumbs. My father doesn't look surprised. He looks relieved. Because proof, once acknowledged, changes the terms. And the thing we've been feeding knows. I finally understand what it is and what I am now responsible for. Knowing changes the shape of everything. It presses weight into moments that used to feel light. It slows time down, stretches it thin, until every second feels deliberate. I move through the house differently now. Quieter, more careful. Not because anyone tells me to be, but because the rules finally make sense. And once something makes sense, breaking it stops feeling rebellious and starts feeling reckless. No one ever formally passes responsibility to me. There's no ceremony, no speech, but the shift is unmistakable. My father lets me set the table one night without correcting me. My mother watches from the doorway as I align the extra plate, her expression unreadable. When I fill the glass, I stop just short of the usual line, then adjust it higher. I feel it immediately, a subtle easing in the air, approval, or something close to it. That night, the house is calm in a way it hasn't been for weeks. I think about leaving. Of course I do. The idea circles me constantly, like an exit sign glowing in the distance. I imagine a life without 7 o'clock pauses, without empty chairs, without silence doing the heavy lifting of safety. But the journal's words echo in my mind. Stability, protection, the way disasters seem to slide around our family instead of hitting us head on. The way friends talk about chaos like it's inevitable, while ours has always felt curated. There's a cost to that. I see it in the hallway photos, in the names that fade, in the cousin who moved away, in the spaces that are kept clean but never used. Silence doesn't erase people, it repurposes them. The thing is patient with me. I feel that. It doesn't rush. It doesn't threaten. It waits, confident in routine, confident in hunger that's always been satisfied eventually. When I sit alone at the table one evening, long after everyone's gone to bed, I don't feel afraid. I feel observed, considered. I don't know if I can do this forever, I whisper. The chair doesn't move. The house doesn't react. But the air grows warmer, just a touch, not a warning, an acknowledgement. I realized then that this is how it survives, not through force, through inheritance, through making itself necessary, through convincing each generation that questioning it risks losing everything else: family, safety, order. I understand my parents now. The way their shoulders relax after dinner. The way their voices soften once the rituals are complete. They aren't cruel. They aren't blind. They're tired. And they're protecting what they know how to protect. Breaking the ritual wouldn't be dramatic. No thunder. No instant punishment. Just a slow unraveling. A missed pause. An unset chair. A forgotten date. Luck thinning out. Protection loosening. Absence spreading in ways that don't follow rules anymore. Chaos, so I make my choice quietly. I stay. Not because I believe the thing deserves it. Not because I think this is right. But because I've seen what happens when absence stops being controlled. When it's allowed to roam. Uncounted. Uncontained. The rituals don't create the danger. They fence it in. On my last night before deciding not to leave, I slow everything down. I sit at the table long after dinner, breathing evenly, letting the silence stretch. I adjust the chair one final time, aligning it perfectly. I pour fresh water into the glass, watching the surface settle. Just this, I say softly, nothing more. The air settles with me. Now, when I tell you about my family, I still call us normal. I still say we have traditions. I just don't explain them. Some things work best when they're not questioned. When they're performed gently, consistently, like a lullaby you don't remember learning. If you ever find yourself at a table with one too many chairs, one glass that never quite stays full, don't ask about it. Don't joke. Don't touch it. Just sit. Just eat. Let the moment pass. Because some families don't ask questions to hide secrets. They do it to keep something very old, very patient, and very real exactly where it belongs.